Hello. This is the 169th issue of Catch of the Day, available on the Branch Talk YouTube channel. Today we're going to continue reading from a book written by Doug Mitchell, entitled The Four Carpenters, the Ensign, The Time of Jacob's Trouble, and The First Deliverance. Starting near the top of page 7, we read, "It is obvious that Brother Hoddeff, his conclusion that the four carpenters are Gentile powers comes from his understanding of the answer given by the angel in response to Zachariah's question concerning the four carpenters, which reads, Then lifted I up mine eyes, and saw and behold 4 horns, verse 18. And I said unto the angel that talked with me, What be these? And he answered me, These are the horns, which have scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem. Verse 19. And the Lord showed me 4 carpenters. Verse 20. Then said I, What come these to do? And he spake, saying, These are the horns, which have scattered Judah, so that no man did lift up his head. But these are come to fray them, to cast out the horns of the Gentiles, which lifted up their horn over the land of Judah to scatter it. Verse 21. Apparently, Brother Hoddeff was thinking that the word these, when used the first time, in verse 21, was a part of the angel's disclosure of the identity of the 4 carpenters. But is that the correct way to read the verse? Let's see. What is most important in understanding these verses is the fact that when Zachariah saw the 4 horns, he asked, What be these? But when he later saw the 4 carpenters, he didn't ask, What be these? But instead asked, What come these to do? Thus we see that Zechariah didn't even ask the Lord to explain to him what or who the 4 carpenters were, as he had of the 4 horns. Therefore, the Lord didn't at all explain who or what the 4 carpenters were, but only told Zechariah what they were come to do. Thus, we can't assume that the first time the word these is used in verse 21, it is used to identify who or what the 4 carpenters are, as evidently Brother Hoddeff did. Zechariah knew that the 4 horns must have had some symbolical meaning, because there was nothing in their very appearance that would define what they were or what they represented. So he asked, What be these? But as he readily recognized the 4 carpenters as being carpenters, he didn't need to ask what they were, what they be, only what they were come to do. Therefore, as the Lord didn't even identify what the 4 carpenters were, then we can't use anything in those verses to identify what they are, i.e. Gentiles or some other part of the 4 horns, other than their being carpenters, as apparently Brother Hoddeff did. We can only use those verses to learn what the 4 carpenters will come to do. We will have to look elsewhere to identify what or who they represent, and that by finding out what else or who else will accomplish the same thing they are to accomplish, and by the same means they are to employ. Before we do that, we need to look into these verses of Zechariah a little more in order to see if what is being said herein is true. After identifying the four horns as being symbols of the powers that scattered God's people, verse 18 and 19, and after Zechariah was shown the four carpenters, verse 20, and had asked the angel about what they had come to do, the angel used the first word, these, in verse 21 to show the relationship between the four horns and the four carpenters by telling him what the four horns had done in order to explain what the four carpenters were come to do to them and why. These are the horns which have scattered Judah, so that no man did lift up his head. Following that introductory use of the word these, referring to the four horns, in verse 21, the angel says, but these, referring to the four carpenters, are come to fray them, the four horns. Take care.